Transcription, speed 100, start. A deeming provision is being made to enable such manufacturers to pay duty on the wholesale price at which they make a sale to the brand owner. As and when the brand owner affixes the retail sales price on the garment or made up, he would pay the additional duty, if any. The garment and made up industry has a high incidence of return of unsold stock. In order to obviate the burden of the double payment on such goods, I propose to exempt from excise duty returned goods not exceeding 10% of the value of the clearances of the unit in the preceding financial year. The doubts and queries raised by the industry have been examined. A detailed clarification is being issued on these. I would also like to recapitulate to the honorable members that the levy does not apply to unbranded goods. It does not apply to goods made to order for a retail customer. The benefit of SSI exemption is available to goods bearing or sold under the brand name of the small manufacturer himself, and the simplified export procedure is available to units that predominantly export and sell unbranded goods or goods bearing their own brand name in the domestic market. Another issue which was persistently raised by some honorable members relate to the reduction of the import duty on raw silk from 30% ad valorem from 5% ad valorem. The total requirement of the raw silk for the weaving industry is around 30,000 metric ton per year. Our total production all over the country is about 20,000 metric ton. Therefore, there is a gap of 10,000 metric ton. As a result of this gap, the prices reached very high, and the weavers in the entire northern India and many other parts of the country were suffering. Therefore, it was decided that let us reduce the import duty so that the import becomes cheaper, and as soon as it will meet our requirement, domestic production plus imported material, which will be equal to the demand, the duties can always be adjusted by either increasing it or decreasing it. I have received representation from various sectors. I can assure them that this does not mean that this import duty reduction would continue for an indefinite period. It is to bridge the gap. If we do not bridge the gap, the weavers will suffer, and which they were suffering. I once again assure the honorable members that this issue will continue to receive our attention throughout the year, and by adjusting the duties, it would be addressed so that the adequate quantum of raw silk is available to the weavers of the country. Some suggestions have been received in respect of the levy of 1% central excise duty on 130 items. I propose to extend the RSP based assessment with an abatement of 35% to many of these items so that disputes with regard to valuation are avoided. I also propose to exempt all waste, scrap, or pairings arising in the course of manufacture of these items as a measure of relief. To provide a simplified regime for taxpayers exclusively manufacturing these items, the procedural relaxations are being made. Based on the feedback from the domestic industry, I am proposing reliefs in customs and central excise duties with a view to encouraging the domestic manufacturers. Notifications to give effect to these changes would be issued in due course and laid on the table of the House. As for service tax, I have already announced earlier this morning our decision to exempt the new levy on health services in entirety, both in respect of services provided by hospitals as well as by diagnostic tests. Point of taxation rules are due to come into force from April 1, 2011. Many taxpayers have expressed concerns about some provisions and also sought some time for the switchover on account of the changes required in their software. Accordingly, certain changes in the relevant provisions are being worked out, and an additional period of 3 months up to June 30, 2011 is being provided to make the transition. These changes shall be notified shortly after completing the process of consultation. Most of the general points which the honorable members have referred to have been replied.